I'm going to keep this straightforward because when you're standing over a heavy piece of equipment wondering if a lift platform is worth the money, you need to hear the real pros and cons, not a sales script. If you want to see the exact model and pricing, the link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. In the next few minutes I'll walk through what the Wesco 260001 steel frame hydraulic pedalift actually does in a typical workshop or garage, where it shines, where it falls short, and who should walk away without clicking add to cart. First off, the hesitation most people have with any lift platform is the fear of buying a piece of steel that looks solid on paper but ends up being a clunky, hard-to-use obstacle. The biggest risk is spending on a device that either can't handle the weight you need or that turns a simple lift into a workout you didn't sign up for. With the Wesco Pedalift you're looking at a 750-pound capacity and a 40-inch lift height, which puts it squarely in the middle of the market for small to medium jobs. It's not a forklift, it's not a scissor lift that reaches 3 feet, but for most DIYers and a handful of contractors it hits the sweet spot of big enough for my generator, light enough to move around my shop. Let's talk about how the device actually works in the field. The platform sits on 2 8-inch wheels that each have 2-inch tires and precision ball bearings. In practice that means you can roll the lift onto a truck bed or a concrete floor with very little effort, as long as the surface is relatively smooth. The front nose plate touches the floor when you lower the platform, giving it a solid pivot point and preventing the platform from tipping forward while you load a heavy item. The hydraulic pump is foot-operated. You step on a pedal, push down, and the piston raises the platform, release the pedal and a valve lets the fluid return, letting the platform drop. For anyone who's ever struggled with a manual chain hoist, that foot pump feels almost intuitive. You're using body weight rather than arm strength, which spreads the effort across a larger muscle group and feels less taxing over a few lifts. A practical strength that shows up in real-world use is the platform size. At 16 inches by 20 inches, it comfortably fits a standard dishwasher, a 24-inch TV, a compact air compressor, or a typical pallet of hardware. In a garage scenario, I've seen a homeowner place a 620-pound diesel generator on the lift, roll it onto a small trailer, and raise it just enough to slide the wheels onto the trailer's lip. The process took under 2 minutes, and there was no need to enlist a second pair of hands. That's the kind of efficiency that matters when you're loading a pickup for a road trip or moving a heavy piece of equipment from the shop floor to a work truck. On the flip side, the same platform size can feel limiting if you regularly work with larger items. A full-size refrigerator, for example, won't fit on a 16 by 20 deck, so you'd need a larger lift or a different method entirely. Also, the 8-inch wheels are great on concrete or packed gravel, but they'll struggle on uneven terrain, loose sand, or anything with a steep incline. If you're a landscaper who needs to lift equipment onto a muddy backhoe deck, the Wesco will probably wobble or stall. The foot-operated hydraulic pump, while easy for occasional lifts, can become tiring if you're raising and lowering the platform dozens of times a day. It's not a power assist system, you still have to pump with each lift, and the pedal can feel stiff after a while. Another point that's easy to overlook until you actually own the unit is maintenance. The hydraulic cylinder is sealed, which means it's low maintenance compared to an oil-filled jack that needs regular topping up, but you still have to keep the ball bearings clean and watch for any leakage around the pump shaft. Wesco offers a 1-year warranty, which is fairly standard for this price range, but it also means that any major component failure after that period will be out of pocket. If you plan to keep the lift for many years, budgeting for occasional seal replacements or bearing cleaning is wise. Now, who exactly should consider buying this? If you run a small auto repair shop, a handyman business, or you're a DIY enthusiast who frequently loads heavy appliances onto trucks, the Wesco Pedalift gives you a reliable, straightforward solution without the cost of a powered lift. Its 750-pound capacity covers most engines, compressors, and bulk materials you'll encounter in a residential or light commercial setting. The 40-inch lift height is enough to get a platform onto most truck beds, trailer lips, or low-loading docks, which makes the device a versatile bridge between the ground and a vehicle. For people who value a manual system that doesn't need batteries or electricity, this is a real strength. Conversely, you should skip it if your primary tasks